I think choosing a college is about so much more than what sometimes people look at, which is rankings or prestige. It's really about fit. It's about formation. And it's about the future opportunities, to think about whether a campus and the culture of a campus is a good fit for who your student is, what's important to them as well as to your larger family, and what you hope they are going to discover, because it's a formative time. And so to just look at the external kinds of things is to oversimplify what the real opportunity is. And so I think campus visits are really important in getting a feel for what would it be like to live here essentially for the next 4 years.
Do you think that there's just a lot of pressure on students to be looking at those outside things like rankings over fit and community?
Yeah, I do. I think and sometimes parents get overly anxious to be sure they get to the right place that sets them on the right trajectory, when it's far more about where they're going to flourish and where they're going to discover what God's calling them to be and to do. College is about far more than just what's going to be happening on the day you graduate. I say to prospective students who are visiting Belmont and their families that, you're not making a 4-year decision, you're making a 40-year decision. And the real test of whether a university or a college has done a good job in preparing you is not what you're like on the day you graduate. It's what you're like 10 years out and 20 years out. And that's where we want to emphasize the intersections of purpose and character and an entrepreneurial mindset that's really focused on that.
Yeah. And you say that when parents ask the right questions, then kids feel equipped to make purposeful, prayerful decisions about their education, about anything. So what type of questions should parents be asking?
It's a great point. I think to ask what kind of community is going to surround my child and support their formation. Does the faculty and do the faculty and staff really care about students? So is it a focus on teaching, or is it really more focused on research? You can get a feel for that, and whether they're going to be surrounded to be encouraged. Are there going to be people who come alongside their child to both challenge and support? So challenge is more obvious in the classroom and the hard work that's going to happen, but to also support, because they're going to be rough times. These are times of being stretched and grow and learn. And are they going to have people that they can turn to who will come alongside and encourage them academically, socially, spiritually? Are there ways in which students are encouraged to be with each other? One of the difficulties of COVID was that students at a pivotal time of identity formation were separated from each other, because a lot of what happens is who your peers are and who you're spending time with on campus. And so those opportunities to engage, what kind of community is really going to support? And then I think that we talked about it briefly earlier, but parents should ask, how does this university help my child or help students discover their purpose and form their character? Often we just look at the major or the credential or the skill set. And really it's about discovering that North Star. One of the interesting things that's happened with people, Susan, my wife, and I interview in our What's Your Why class, and we've interviewed people of great accomplishment ranging from 25 to 82. And all of the people that we've interviewed are doing something different than they thought they'd be doing when they were 18 years old. And so that larger sense of character formation and purpose is so important for really helping to ask the best questions and in those sorts of ways for your long-term journey in life. And the third thing I'd say is, are there programs and mentoring opportunities? Because it's often, when you find what a friend of mine, Michael Lamb, calls attainable exemplars. So one of the things we do at Belmont is to offer students to spend time with a mentor who's 25 to 35, not at the top of their game. Sometimes an 18-year-old student will say, how do I become a president like you? And I thought, that's a pretty long journey of lots of twists and turns.